closer to Manchester United after the club sent an improved proposal in the last hours. Is a proposal worth more than £60 million package in total after 45 plus £10 million proposal rejected 2 weeks ago. Man United are back to the table with a new bid. Now talks ongoing between the clubs. Remember that he has an agreement with Manchester United on the contract on personal terms, and now giving priority to United, who are working to sign.
Right, before the break, some news just in from Manchester United. They've just confirmed
that a deal is close for Manchester United to sign. And also, we are hearing this evening, Manchester United confident that they will be able to sign their #1 target before Friday's deadline.
Listen up, you Manchester United fans. This breaking news is for you. Sky Germany is reporting that United have made contact with Eintracht Frankfurt to register an interest. It's understood they're exploring conditions of a potential deal for the 22-year-old forward. Not straightforward, though, because want €100 million, about £85 million, has 4 years left on his deal. But Sky Germany reporting Manchester United made contact with register an interest. Keep a very close eye on that. And, of course, you'll hear more in the transfer shows, which start again on Monday.
This is the latest, as we understand it, in terms of the appointment of Ruben. This is coming from our chief news reporter, Carrick Solokol, in the last few minutes. And he says the official agreement on terms and date for Ruben leaves for Manchester United are now getting close. Now, this is the interesting bit. It could be announced tomorrow, but one of the options...
Is it top 5 or bust for Manchester United, Carve?
I think it's really important for them to get in the Champions League. Financially, of course, they need the cash injection that they would get from being in the Champions League. But I think there are deeper structural problems at United. I think Michael Carrick, fantastic player, but the bottom line is United are kicking the can down the road. We're going to be in this situation again in the summer, where if you're a United fan, you are going to have to put your faith and trust in Ineos, who are running the club at the moment, picking the right person to be the new manager. It's another wasted season, and it's sad to see a club as big as Manchester United, unless you're a Manchester City fan or a Liverpool fan
or a Leeds fan
or a Chelsea fan, going through what they're going through at the moment. But it's been going on for a long time. I've said it before. I personally think it doesn't matter who's in charge, who's the manager, who's the head coach, who's the interim head coach. I've been saying it for 20 years and I'm bored of saying it. The problems at Manchester United are to do with the ownership model at the club. Personally, I think unless that changes, nothing is going to change.
We were talking off camera about what happens if Man United get in the top 5, about the interim role, but on the website, he's named head coach until the end of the season. There's no word of interim, is there? And if he were to get in the Champions League, he'd have a great case to stay. He'd have a great case to stay.
Yeah, it's interesting, that.
But I've never known a club with so...
But that might be semantics. Head coach until the end of the season is effectively interim head coach, but we can argue about that. Rob Dorset said, Jason Wilcox, he led the search, he said. Carve, I put it to you that in his role, he shouldn't have to lead any search because he should have had someone in place already.
And also, you know, I think your question is a little bit loaded because, you know, how much of a search is it that you end up with it either being Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Michael Carrick, without being disrespectful to either of those two players who were absolutely incredible players for Manchester United. But you would think a club as big as Manchester United would have a contingency plan. They would have a plan B. Chelsea, when Enzo Maresca left, we all knew that Liam Rosenior was going to get that job. What was the contingency plan at Manchester United for the manager leaving, for Ruben Amorim leaving? Was it to turn to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Michael Carrick? Most people would say that's not a particularly detailed, well thought through plan. I think, you know, the situation with Michael Carrick reminds me a little bit of the situation when Frank Lampard went back to Chelsea. You know, a legendary figure going back as a manager until the end of the season. It could go one of two ways. You know, either Carrick could be successful, get them into the Champions League, get the job full time, or it could be what happened under Frank Lampard, where he went back and afterwards he turned around and said, what I found at that club was not what I expected. There were big problems at that club. I couldn't recognise it from the club where I played. So it could go one or two ways. Turning to an ex-player doesn't always work out. And sometimes the problems are far too big for an ex-player to fix. Certainly an ex-player who's only got the job on an interim basis until the end of the season.
Giggs, Carrick, Van Nistelrooy, Solskjaer, Carrick again. I've never known so many ex-players have so many interim roles. But is it just the Man United factor? I mean, the cameras and the directors can't help but see Alex Ferguson clapping every time they're at Old Trafford.
Yeah. I'll give you an ex-player for you. Xabi Alonso. Could he, now he's available, maybe go to somewhere where he's played before?